End of the year usually means grading for us. BJJ schools all over the world create ceremonies to award their students new belts or new stripes. Today I want to show you how was the last grading at the gym that I train and 3 characteristics that I think make it perfect. Before we get to that, an important disclaimer. I'm not here to tell you or your coach how to do your grading. I don't own a gym and I do not teach Jiu-Jitsu for a living. I'm just gonna explain how my coach do ours and what I love about it, because I do think it's the perfect one.
Perfect.
Now let me show you how was our grading day. Spoiler alert, I didn't get any belt, nor a stripe. The day consisted in 3 parts: the ceremony, an open mat, and the party. Everyone got together in a massive line that took the whole mat space, ordered by belt. Then our head coach said some words about grading to set the tone. Starting from the blue belts up, he called one by one, awarding them their belts. After that, the mat was ours. Whoever wanted to roll was rolling, who wanted to practice a technique, 1 hour just for Jiu-Jitsu. Once that was done, the lights got dimmed, the pizza got ordered, and was just us celebrating the year together and the belts that got awarded on that day. That was basically it. What you saw here was a summary of the whole day, but I want to focus specifically on the grading itself and tell you the behind the scenes on how it works. Let's talk about the 3 main characteristics that, for me, make this grading system the perfect one. At my gym, there is no extra cost for grading. You just pop up to the gym on a given day to celebrate with your partners that moment. You are not charged for the time spent there, the stripe, not even the belt itself. 0, no extra cost.
No cost?
Now I know that for some gyms, grading days mean a boost in the income for that month, and I don't judge. Each gym owner knows better how to keep their student in their own gym. But it's not because I understand it that I agree with it. Jiu-Jitsu can be a pricey sport to start, because you need to buy all the gear, the transportation, and keeping the monthly fee being paid in time. So paying for something that you technically earn throughout the years does not seem right to me. Also, for the gym owners, it does not look like good business. If you do want to charge for the grading, add fractions of that cost in the monthly fee that your students already pay. This way, nobody gets a surprise charge at the end of the year.
Surprise, mother...
Now, there's one situation where I think it's fair to charge extra, which is if your gym organize a seminar for the day. A seminar would technically mean an extra class, so I think it's totally fair to charge it, especially if it's the seminars from a guest. Just don't make it compulsory. Do the grading for everyone, and then the seminar. That's, by the way, is exactly what happened when I got my purple belt. The gym invited Roger for a seminar. There was the grading before, and later we learned from the GOAT at an extra cost. Perfect. Now to the second point. No scheduled belt exam. In order to promote students, a coach will follow a criteria to evaluate the progress of them. This criteria will vary among gyms, but generally speaking, it's a system based on merit that will take into account match time, the understanding of techniques, and the personal circumstances of each student. And this is why I'm saying no scheduled belt exam. Because in theory, your coach is evaluating you every day that you go and that you do not go to the gym. This means you are constantly being tested by your coach.
They are watching us. I understand.
It's on the class that your coach will be applying that grading criteria that later in the year, he or she will use to award you your belt. Or not. That's why I feel that a scheduled exam does not make much sense. In a scenario where this exam exists, what happens if you don't pass it? You only got invited to this day because theoretically you're checking all the boxes throughout the months to do so. But on the specific day, a lot of things can happen outside the mat that can directly influence the exam. So a student will not be awarded their purple belt because on that specific day they couldn't pass a guard of someone that they always pass. We never know what can be happening with that person on that day. That's why I personally don't like scheduled belt exams. And I'm really glad that my gym and my coach don't do it. They apply their criteria to evaluate the students throughout the days and get the day of grading. You either get your belt or not. Now, The third main point, and probably the most controversial one, no punishment for getting promoted. Some gyms do the gauntlet or the corridor. In Brazil, we call it the Polish corridor, but I've asked my Polish friends and they said that in Poland, no one calls it that. Anyway, if you don't know what a gauntlet is basically a ritual where one is whipped by their training partners with their own belts. It's a form of celebration for being promoted. Some gyms have other ways of punishment for getting promoted, like making the person go through a series of takedown or apply them a shark tank until they are exhausted. I know that there are a lot of people that love to be in the receiving end of these ceremonies. I have friends that talk with pride about how slowly they walked through that corridor being whipped by their training partners. And I get it. This type of ceremony is for some people a rite of passage, something so out of ordinary that it will be forever remembered by them. It's also a moment where the whole gym got together to give all their attention specifically to that person in that moment. And not only the attention, but all their strength to whip them as hard as they can. So it's no surprise that a lot of people will remember that fondly. Having said all that, I personally don't like it. I feel you can get all the good things about these rituals without the physical harm itself. One of the things can be in the speech of the coach giving the belt for that person. That can talk about all the things that that person did to be awarded the belt. Challenge, the history, the missteps, everything that that person did, and making it truly unique about that person in that moment. Granted that this is only possible if the gym creates an environment where everyone would be there to celebrate the achievements of their peers, to cultivate that feeling of being all together in that journey, to get better at Jiu-Jitsu. With all of that together, I believe that you are able to reach all the feelings that are generated by the rite of passage and mark that moment forever, perhaps with an even stronger emotion than pain. If done right, the person will never forget the words and who was there with them on that specific day. And I can say that in a personal experience because I remember the words of my coach 10 years ago when I got graded my blue belt, how I got emotional with my purple belt, and how I was completely shocked and humbled when I got awarded my brown belt. I don't believe that a whipping or a takedown would make me feel more realized and proud of myself on those days. In conclusion, these three things together form, to me, the perfect grading system. I don't have a fee I wasn't expecting to pay, I get my progress constantly evaluated on the mats, and when time comes for a new belt, it's all about celebrating all the challenges I was forced to overcome on that journey. Again, I'm not a gym owner, and I'm not here to tell you how you should run your gym. Just food for thought. If you got until here, what I do want to know is how is the graduation at your gym? Do you disagree with any points that I made it here? Let me know in the comments. Perhaps your grading is better than mine on something that I just don't know. Until then, see you on the mats.